is really does not need any introduction. However, he is a great friend and a brother of mine, and a person who's meeting him this time in Bombay after a year. Why? Because we have been seeing him more often on the virtual mode, or even more often on the news channels. And the way he's moving forward, I hope he doesn't land into the Bollywood now. He is a eminent personality, not only known nationally, but internationally. He has been the past president of API, and he has been the president of various endocrine and obesity associations. A great friend, a great human being, and a great orator, master teacher. And I would, without wasting any time, because if you really want to introduce, then you will require one full lecture for introduction only. So over to our Dean, Dr. Shashank Joshi, for his Dean's address.
Thank you, Dr. Upadhyay. At the onset, I welcome all of you all for this virtual EAPCon, and I'm going to talk today on the Diabetes 2020. This video is on? Yeah. So what I'm going to talk in the next 25-30 minutes is that diabetes has a huge impact on how much we live, that is lifespan, mortality. Then I'm going to talk on some things very simple, how to manage diabetes, A, B, C, D, E, F. A for A1C, B for blood pressure, C for heart and cholesterol, D for diet and drugs, E for eye and exercise, and F for feet. Then I'm going to talk on reversal strategies, lifestyle and artificial intelligence. And then can we add years to diabetic life with quality? And finally, some prevention mantra. So we know that our world, though we are still in the COVID era, maximum deaths which are occurring in COVID are from non-communicable diseases. So if you have diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, or any non-communicable disease, then if you get COVID infection, you are likely to die. So premature death from non-communicable diseases is the biggest global developmental challenge of 21st century. And every year, around 15 million people in the world die due to NCDs between 30 and 70. So the most productive years of our life, we are losing people across the world because of non-communicable diseases. And therefore, United Nations in 2011 told all the member countries to achieve a 25% reduction in premature mortality from NCDs. Whether it is stroke, whether it is heart attack, we want to save lives. And this was a 25-25 target. And our aim now by 2025 is that can we save lives of people from non-communicable diseases? They revised the target to 2030 with the Sustainable Developmental Goal target 3.4. And this is the Lancet Commission, which again says India is top of the pecking order in diabetes. Diabetes is right up there, followed by chronic respiratory diseases, ischemic heart disease, ischemic stroke, hemorrhagic stroke. So what is killing Indians? It is diabetes, lung disease, stroke, and heart disease. Can we make a difference on the lifespan of a diabetic? Remember, any person who gets diabetes has a shorter lifespan by almost a decade. To be precise, 8 or 9 years. Every 7 seconds on planet Earth, one person dies due to diabetes. Every year, 4 million people die due to diabetes. Every year, 18 million people die due to heart disease and stroke. And we as Asian Indians have a special predilection within India and migrants across the globe to develop diabetes. So this was a recent study which was published in Diabetology, of the lifetime risk of diabetes in metropolitan cities of India, whether I'm living in Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Calcutta, Bengaluru. And they looked at people more than 20 years and they studied the risk. And the lifetime risk of diabetes in metropolitan cities in India is alarming based on the weight. As we put on weight, as the BMI goes up, there's a dramatic increase in the development of diabetes. So who is at risk? When the research group looked at the lifetime risk, you can see here that most people about 20 but between 60 and are obese, they are the ones who are dying. So we are losing our youngest generation to these non-communicable diseases and diabetes. And you can see that we are this Chindia. You can see China and India are fat. They are fat by population and they have extra fat cells, though we all look very lean and thin. So we are thin fat Indians and Chinese are also thin fat. And this is the reason we are getting this whole explosion. And we are getting this unique metabolic syndrome of atherogenic dyslipidemic profile. And this is something which we know. In fact, I was the principal investigator with Dr. Mohan as a PI for the ICMR India first part of the study from Maharashtra. And when we looked at Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, and Chandigarh, we found that the commonest abnormality in 3/4 of the Indians was low HDL, followed by high triglycerides, followed by high LDL. And whether it is rural India or urban India, we are full of heart disease. And you can see that whether it's heart disease, cerebrovascular disease, or hypertensive heart disease, we are killing Indians. We are unique. We have a lower BMI for diabetes. We have severe insulin resistance. Our beta cells also die fast. By the time you get diabetes, beta cells are gone. We have typical dyslipidemia of low HDL, high triglyceride, high LDL. The fat cells secrete a hormone called adiponectin, which protects us from the harmful effects of fat. Unfortunately, most Indians have very low adiponectin. There's a lot of inflammation. You know, we are all angry young Indians. So we have a lot of inflammation. Every time you get angry, you increase your CRP, HSCRP, and inflammatory markers. And then, of course, our muscle mass is less. We don't eat proteins. We are predominantly vegetarian. And then we deposit a lot of extra fat. We are born with less fat cells. Our counterparts, America, United States, Canada, Europe, more than 40% of them are obese. They are born with extra fat cells, while we are born with less fat cells. So our fat cells cannot expand. So when we have extra fat, which we eat through our fast and fried foods, what happens? We put that fat in the organs like liver, pancreas, and the heart. And we get fatty liver, fatty pancreas, fatty heart. And that is what is our challenge. We are even at birth, low birth weight and thin fat. Our vitamin B12 is low, vitamin D is low, and we are getting diabetes at a younger onset. So obviously you can see WHO has said that we are a heart disease capital of the world and we are the diabetes capital #2 of the world. And all the heart disease is driven by diabetes because we are sust and must. We are sedentary Indians. Our diet is poor. We love food. We thrive on food. We are unfortunately the tobacco capital and smoke capital of the world also. And we all feel that if we have a belly in your stomach, it is like a sign of prosperity or Sethji. And that Sethji belly, which is there, has become the killer for Indians. So it is important that you lose the fat by doing, whether you do Kapalbhati, and you don't need any Baba to tell you to do Kapalbhati. It has been there for 4,000 years. It is a part of our Indian medicine. Stop smoking, stop alcohol, stop tobacco, eat the right diet, and do physical activity. We can reverse this trend. So obviously, life expectancy in people with diabetes was shortened by 10 years in type 1 diabetes. And if you have type 1 diabetes, it is 20 years. So for type 2 diabetes, it is 10 years. Type 2 diabetes is it is 10 years and 20 years respectively. So 1 decade of your life you lose if you get type 2 diabetes, and 2 decades of your life you lose if you get type 1 diabetes. Canada, it is 6 years only because Canada has done so well. And males lose 7 years from the diagnosis. Females lose 7.5 years and the mortality risk goes up. Long time back in 2006, when I was editor of JAPI, I had written an editorial on Dr. Mohan's paper, how people were dying due to diabetes in India, and mortality rates were twofold higher, and they were not surviving very well. There is excessive mortality due to diabetes with higher, younger people, mainly from the kidney disease. Why? Because we are sedentary. We don't move. We love to sit in our chair and sleep in our chair. We have too much of fat, cholesterol, triglyceride, smoking and hypertension. That's the challenge we have. And that is why if you see across the world, look at US, look at China, they are living longer than us. Because they have a larger geriatric population, they are dying due to COVID also. Indians' life expectancy is around 67 to 69 years. Women live, men better than in India because they are more resilient. And Japan is not even on the graph, it is ahead of the graph. Because they all live up to 100. So this is our population pyramid. We have the lowest number of people living above 90. Lot of Indians live between 70 to 90. But we have only 13.5 lakh people living above 90. And that's something which we need to recognize. So what is the impact of ABCD? A for A1C. Keep your A1C below 6.5 if your diabetes is young in the first 10 years. If your diabetes for a non-pregnant adult, keep it below 7%. If you are senior citizen, you have limited life expectancy, don't control your sugars very tightly. Go a little easy and keep it at 7.5. Keep your BP below 130/80. Keep your LDL cholesterol below 50 or 70. And screen for heart disease every year. Ensure that you take your drugs and diet, and I'll talk of diet a lot. Do exercise. Even if you do 10,000 steps per day. Unfortunately, we have become exercisers of our fingers using either a television remote or using our fingers for the smartphone. And the best exercise most human beings do is they strain their ocular muscles, seeing their WhatsApps and ensuring that their fingertips are very active. That is the only exercise Indians have learned, either to see the television on their popular soap operas or to see their WhatsApps on the phone. And that will lead to a vision syndrome. It is called as TV WhatsApp syndrome. And that will damage your cones of the retina. So you do a digital detox every day. And if you're a diabetic, and if you continue seeing more than 2 hours of WhatsApp every day and continuing watching television for more than 3 hours every day, you are near certain to get macular degeneration. And your risk of retinopathy goes up 6-fold. Beyond that, you need to exercise. You need to be fidgety, but we need to build muscle. A lot of people say we get very hungry. We want to eat more. More you want to eat, the more you need to put on muscle, and look at the feet. So that is the main thing. So when we want to really control the SAT, keep your A1C below 7. Number 1, tobacco control, reduce heart disease risk, reduce the dietary sodium. We love our salted food. Reduce the household air pollution. We have our household air has become smoke chamber. Not because of smoking, but because we are living in a very close, poorly ventilated environment. Remove all the artificial trans fat. All the fast foods we eat are trans fat. Reduce alcohol use or avoid it, and always prevent cancers. So obviously, if you do vigorous intensity exercise, it works. More you exercise, the better it is. And also remember, please be exposed to sun. If you are going to take sunlight, you are actually going to be better. You can see here, this is data. Increasing sun exposure is related to lower prevalence of death from cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and non-cancer, non-CVD. Knowledge regarding sun exposure and all-cause mortality has been scant. But there is very clear link between low sun exposure to risk of death. Just ask a question to each one of you all who are listening to my talk. How much time every day you go out in the sun? People are scared of the sun because they think if they go in the sun, they'll get skin cancer. Those, particularly the Caucasians, are scared. But I don't think Indians should be scared. Our agrarian, rural people who go in the sunlight, they are living longer. So we need to understand that exposing sun is very, very easy. Everything in diabetes is linked to heart benefit. Better glucose control is better heart benefit. FDA mandated a lot of those things. They had these cardiovascular outcome trials. We have these 3-point, 4-point MACE. We had all these gliptin trials, SGLT2 trials. So many drugs have come in diabetes. All these trials, whether it is Ticos, Severtimi, Examine, Carolina, on gliptins, they showed hard drugs are safe when you use a drug like gliptins. And if you use SGLT2 inhibitors, then probably they might have beneficial effects. And same is true with GLP-1 agents also. But the biggest challenge we have in diabetes today is 2 cycles. If you don't bicycle, then 2 cycles will be active. That is called as the liver cycle and pancreas cycle. My good friend and the next dean is Dr. Rajesh Upadhyay. He is a specialist of gastroenterology. When we eat too much, what do? We activate the liver cycle because our liver is bombarded with fat and that will pour out. There'll be a liver diarrhea of the triglyceride and that will bombard the pancreas. So you'll get fatty liver, fatty pancreas, we'll get a twin cycle and you will get diabetes. By just eating less, Europeans realized it in 2004. Americans took 10 years to recognize what Europeans thought. And we had recognized it 10,000 years back from Sushruta Samhita and Charak Samhita. Simple thing, eat less. Diabetes was reversed first by surgeons. Puri et al. Almost 25 years free from diabetes. And this is Professor Roy Taylor. And Professor Roy Taylor very clearly showed that if you just eat less and do severe caloric restriction, you can reverse diabetes. His direct trial showed that if you eat less and eat only 800 calories a day, which is why a lot of our rishis and munis used to do in the good old days, you reduce body weight, you reduce glucose, and you improve the action on the liver fat and insulin action on the liver. So this was a trial Dr. Taylor's group led, which is a direct trial, and it showed that a low-calorie meal in a general practice clinic in UK could reverse diabetes by simply picking up people who are less than 6 years of diabetes, people between 20 and 65 years, but they were fat and not receiving insulin. If you just told them to eat 800 calories per day, you can reverse diabetes. You are all doctors. A lot of lay people are practicing obesity and reversal medicine. Remember, you as doctors can easily supervise and restrict calories and do it very easily. So what did they show? In direct trial, they showed by reducing simply the food intake to 800 calories, 50% of diabetes can be disappeared. What was the philosophy they used? That replace one meal with a low calorie diet, create a negative caloric balance, deplete the liver and pancreas fat and reverse diabetes. And they were able to improve gastric emptying, plasma insulin, GIP, glucose concentration, GIP and CCK. Who responded better? People with shorter duration of diabetes responded better. People who are younger responded better. So if you have a young diabetic, short duration of diabetes, if you eat less, you can reverse diabetes. So type 2 diabetes can be reversed. The answer is yes. But you can't follow these diets. It's very, very difficult to follow diets. It is near impossible to follow these diets. If I tell, my good friend, Mr. Trivedi sitting here, or Amit Saraf, or Pritam Gupta, that only have breakfast, no lunch, no dinner, probably they will not be my friends at all. They will tell me, and, they'll go to my good friend, Professor Milind Nadkar, and Milind will say, ye Shashank bolte hai, uska kuch suno mat. Okay, aap breakfast, lunch, dinner, sab khao. Then I have to tell them that eat less. It's very difficult to follow diet. Yeah. Very easy to say, don't eat this, but very difficult to follow. So the biggest challenge we are following today in our history is to follow diet. So can we use some of the technology? We are using technology here. I don't understand ABCD of technology. Mr. Trivedi is learning with me. Madam Sunita is learning with me from a person, small young kid called Anirudh. Anirudh is half our age, but he knows technology better than us. I don't know how to connect to this laptop, how to see in the camera, how to wear a mask and talk. It's very, very difficult. So this is a graph of metabolism. Every human being, when we eat, has different metabolic biochemical pathways. And you can see this busy graph. If you can read every word of this graph, you have extraordinary eyesight. You don't need to go to an eye doctor. But if you can't read this graph carefully, you need to check your glucose and you need to check your eyes. So please see this slide very carefully. This is a sugar check, eye check. If you cannot read this slide carefully, artificial intelligence will tell you, go to your doctor, get your glucose checked, get your blood pressure checked, and get your eye checked. And if somebody can read it, I congratulate you. You should get a Nobel Prize. Artificial intelligence. We have now technology where we can pick up good signals of health, our mood signals of happiness, and causal signals, and devise policies for precise nutrition, precise medicine, and precise insights. So how do we pick it up? Long time back, Professor Franz Halberg, who is from University of Minnesota, 1973 and 1976, published in the Lancet that if you eat only breakfast in the morning, you lose weight. If you only eat dinner at night, you gain weight. And he also showed in 1976 with his wife Germaine Consilian, who still is alive and works on chronobiology, that if you only have breakfast, you live longer. If you only have large dinner, you live shorter. So the moral of the story is that if you want to live longer and stay healthier, have a large breakfast, moderate lunch, light dinner, or no dinner. If you want to live shorter and gain weight, then skip breakfast, have mild lunch, and have a large dinner. It's a sure shot remedy to die. And this is published work almost 3 decades back. And this is something which we know. So we need to definitely improve the quality of life. So unfortunately, we are born in times of plenty. We have everything in excess, but our body engines are running in a famine mode. In India, we used to have sukhas. Our body engines still think, because generations to generations, our body has been adapted to famine. And that is why every cell of our body thinks that they are hungry and they want to eat more. So what we are doing, whatever we get, we keep on eating. Whatever we get, we keep on eating. And that is why we keep on putting that fat and lowering that muscle, and we don't like to exercise. So what has happened is, if we want to change the diabetes numbers of India, we are the world number 2. My plea to everybody who's listening to this talk is that we need to change the world diabetes numbers. And if you want to make an honest effort to change the world diabetes numbers, the first thing which we need to do is that we need to ensure that we need to eat appropriately. We need to eat less. Second thing we need to do is we need to be active. So eat healthy and be active. It's very, very important that we build some strong muscle. The easiest muscle building exercise traditionally given to us ancestrally is Surya Namaskar. Surya Namaskar, Uthak Baitak, if you do, you build muscle. You can do when you go to a gym, you can build abs. But if you do simple Surya Namaskar, you will get exposure to sunlight, you will build muscle, you will eat active and stay healthy. And that's so crucial and so important to recognize. So the prevention is better than cure. And I'm going to spend my last 7 minutes. I was mindful of the clock. We must finish on time. We have a very busy schedule. Is eat less. Eat slowly. We eat very fast. Preferably sit and eat. Unfortunately, we stand and eat. So eat less. Eat slowly. Eat and sit and relish over 20 to 30 minutes. Eat on time. Don't skip your food times. The biggest mistake we made is we skip our food times, whether it is for our patients, whether it is for us. Eat a large breakfast, moderate lunch, light dinner. If you believe in time restricted feeding, it is eating only 8 or 10 hours of the day. Eat in the morning, whatever you like for those 8 or 9 hours or 10 hours, and then do fast. Eat the right food. It is a myth that vegetarian foods don't have proteins. A lot of vegetarian foods have proteins. Unfortunately, most of the foods we consume from a vegetarian source are having a lot of fats, visible and invisible both. We need to walk more. We need to be fidgety. We need to do our 10,000 steps every day. We have to keep doing our walk. Walk the talk. When you're on the phone, keep walking. Okay, try to do exercise. Be cheerful and sleep on time and sleep well. World research is now on sleep. 7 hours of sleep from 10 o'clock at night to 5 o'clock in the morning is the best sleep. If you sleep a little early, you make better interleukins, which are safe. They have seen all the deaths of COVID have occurred at night between 2 to 5 p.m. And people who have slept on time have not died due to COVID. But something which is very important is if you sleep on time and sleep for 7 hours, you will do very well to prevent diabetes. But you don't sleep too much. You can't sleep beyond 10 hours also. And it is important. We in India have a unique ability of taking stress and giving stress. You know, we are the stress bombs of the world because we are the world's capital for software. So we are supposed to have something called Jugaad. We cannot say no to anything. Everything is possible. And in that, we generate stress on ourselves and others. And therefore, you should be always smiling, cheerful. I can see Dr. Upadhyay in his mask is still smiling. And that is a very good thought. And I'm happy that we are doing these hybrid meetings, but I hate hybrid meetings. I either we should do it virtually or we should do it physically. And I hope that from the during COVID era, we move into after COVID era, and we will be able to have a maskless physical meeting. So I'm certain that, in the last 3 to 5 minutes we have listened, we have learned, and we have to adapt. Only 2 messages I want you to take home in diabetes today. In 2011, we were the world #1 country in diabetes. We lost our first rank to China. And I'm very happy that we lost our first rank to China. But our aim, and that time I was the president of RSSDI, my aim then was that India should be the diabetes care capital of the world. We should do our ABCDE right. Keep your A1C below 7. Keep your blood pressure below 130/80. Keep your LDL cholesterol below 70. Diet, eat less, eat slowly, eat on time. Exercise 10,000 steps per day. Look at your feet. Look at your eyes. Look at your heart regularly every year. And ensure that we can take care of all our diabetics. We are in modern era. We are in digital era. In digital era, 2 problems have occurred. We have got intoxicated beyond alcohol and smoking to digital devices, whether it is your phone or your television screen or your computer screen. 3 enemies of non-communicable diseases and diabetes today is number 1, smartphone. Number 2, computer screen. Number 3, TV screen. I know that you are seeing me this through these screens only, either on the phone, either on the television, or on the computer screen. But these 3 are your biggest enemies because they make you sedentary. When you are watching the show, you are eating, you don't know how much you have eaten. And that is the big problem. So I urge all of you all to practice 2 hours of digital detox every day. Listen to music, walk the talk, wear a Fitbit, and move around. And sleep on time if possible and sleep well. I feel we need to ensure that we change the numbers of diabetes in India. I think it is not in my hands, but it is not in the hands of each one of you. I think each one of you is a diabetes specialist. Every specialty you practice, diabetes is there, whether it is gastroenterology, whether it is dermatology, whether it is nephrology, whether it is cardiology. In fact, our cardiology colleagues and nephrology colleagues are so excited with the new drugs that they feel that the drugs like SGLT2 inhibitors are not drugs of diabetologists at all. They feel they are cardiological drugs and nephrological drugs. And they have already started treating them. In fact, all physicians should treat diabetes. Endocrinologists are tertiary care referral specialists only for difficult and complex cases. Because you remember one thing, humanly, we don't have the doctor population ratio to treat every diabetic in India. Currently, we have around 80 million diabetics in India, and we need to reverse those numbers. And we have an equal number, which is pre-diabetic. So I think if you truly want to make a difference, I think it is your responsibility to get the Indian diabetes numbers down by ensuring that each diabetic gets the right medication, gets the right lifestyle advice, takes a tablet to control the LDL cholesterol like a statin, takes an ACE or ARB to get the blood pressure under control and prevent kidney disease, ensure that they follow diet and exercise well, and take care of their feet well. That's all I have to say. Thank you for a patient hearing. Jai ICP, Jai API, and Jai Hind.
Shashank, I must say, as expected, you've given an excellent, a masterly, and a very informative oration. And you have provided such practical tips, not only for health promotion, but for diabetes prevention, that I think one and all should follow in their daily life. You have also, in addition, summarized my lecture, which I'm giving tomorrow, that diabetes really originates from the liver. You have summarized that in just one slide. So I'm really very grateful for your wonderful oration. I'm sure everybody enjoyed, and I would like everyone to give him a big hand. Lilith would like to say something.
Thank you. Hardik, we can go to the next session.